Hi, I'm Jerry Carter with the Crest Business Law Group. I want to talk today about starting a business with partners the right way. And we continue to see situations where 2 or 3 people come together to form a limited liability company, some business venture, and it gets off to a really horrible start. And by that I mean they come together, they have an idea, they agree we're going to be 50-50 or we're going to be 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Each of us is going to contribute this amount of money and we're going to have a company together and we're going to move off and make a lot of money on our idea. And what happens is that one of the people forms the limited liability company on the internet, and they might print out an operating agreement from the internet or not, and no operating agreement ever gets considered by the people or signed. And so that's one way that they get off track. Another thing that happens is that maybe all 3 agree to contribute $20,000, and then one person puts in the $20,000, the next person says, I can only put in 10, and I'll get you the other 10 later. And then the third one says, I just had a family crisis, I can put in like $2,000 and I'll get you the 18 later. And that's how you start. And the trouble is that first 90 days of doing business together is probably the 90 days where you'll have the most agreement and most enthusiasm and most compliance with duties that you'll ever see. And so what happens is that the people who drag their feet, wouldn't sign the operating agreement, wouldn't put in their share of the money during that first 90 days, guess what? They never do. They just don't. And then the person who did put in their money is exceedingly frustrated, feels ripped off, and then they bicker and fight, and then at some point they say, well, we got to split up, and who's going to buy who out, and it's a big mess. And it's all because you lost a handle on it in that first 90 days. So I want to help you avoid that situation. And really, what I want to talk about is, if you're in that first 90 days, you're just starting your business with partners, what can you do to make sure you get off to a good start? And here would be the answers, is first of all, don't sign any leases with landlords, don't make any commitments for the business until you know that every one of the partners is following through with their commitment. You should form your entity, preferably with an attorney because it's worth the investment. Form that entity, have an operating agreement between the 2 of you, the 3 of you, that explains what's going to happen if there's a deadlock, if we can't agree. What's going to happen if one of us dies or wants to leave the business? Do they get cashed out? What happens? And it's going to say, how are we going to vote and make decisions? Which decisions require majority approval and which decisions require unanimous approval? So you have that operating agreement, and nothing should happen until the operating agreement is signed. And it's not enough for them to say, I'll look at it, or I might sign it. It has to be signed before you start committing yourself. That's one. And then the second, of course, is the contributions have to come in. If everybody's agreed to contribute a certain amount of money, that needs to come in to the bank account and be in the company's treasury and accounted for before you get off the ground. Because if it doesn't come in at the beginning, I have news for you, it's not coming in. So make sure that the plans that you made at the beginning actually happen before you commit the company. And preferably, it's worth the investment to use an attorney to set this up the right way. Now, what happens if you're watching this video and it's too late? You got past that 90 days, you're a year and a half into the business, and everybody's at each other's throats, and now there's a big mess because you contributed like 80% of the money, someone else contributed 20, and someone else says, well, I contributed sweat equity. I've been working really hard, and I've done these, that, and the other things. And now you've got a real mess, and you're trying to figure out what to do with the business. Now, your options now are more limited, but you do have options. And one thing I can recommend is that you request a copy of our office's free report. It's called How to Get Rid of a Parasite Business Partner Without Ruining Your Life. And that'll have some good suggestions for you. In addition, you want to start gathering all the records that you do have. whatever it may be. Emails from the beginning, text messages if you've kept them from the beginning, any agreements that were signed among you, just whatever you have is going to bear on your situation. You just need to get it together. Especially some kind of accounting or listing of what everybody's contributed to the business, whether they purchased something on behalf of the business, or whether they performed services, or whether they contributed cash. You just need to get a handle on what all's gone into the business. And then the third thing that you can do is really you need to get ready to make a decision to turn the ship around. So for example, if the communication in the past hasn't been good and you haven't had regular meetings among the business owners, now's the time when you say, we're going to have meetings. We're not just going to communicate by text, we're going to have a sit-down meeting, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, where we're going to have a meeting with an agenda and go through and make decisions. So that'll really help you. Now, while you do that, of course, it's really valuable to you to be consulting with a business attorney. And that doesn't mean that you have to have the business attorney come to your meetings or even write a letter, but you need someone that you can talk to in confidence and work on the strategy and identify the pitfalls. You just need to have that person that you can consult with so that you're well informed and you know what you're doing from here on out, because you've got a lot of work to do to right this ship. So listen, if you're in the situation that we've described where you have trouble with your business partners, first of all, realize you're not alone. This happens all the time. And is it messy? Yes. Is it challenging? Yes. But it can be dealt with. And the decision that you're going to deal with this situation, take it head on, the better off you're going to be. So if you have any questions or you're ready for some guidance on how to tackle this situation with your business partners, give us a call.